Welcome to the This Mum Loves Tech podcast, the go-to show for female business owners who want to simplify tech and get the support they need to grow their online businesses with confidence. I'm Nicola Walsh, your podcast host. I'm also a mum to two cheeky boys and I love tech, so you don't have to. I'm here to share actionable tips, tools and strategies that will help you streamline your business and make the tech work for you. So whether you're watching after the kids have gone to bed or listening while on the school run, let's dive into today's episode and make tech that little bit easier. Hello and welcome back to This Mum Loves Tech. I am so excited to be back after the summer break, and even more excited because today is a special episode. It's not only the restart of the podcast again after stopping it over the summer, but today, at the time of this episode going live, which is Friday the 5th of September 2025, it marks the 1 year anniversary of the This Mum Loves Tech membership and 2 years since I said yes to going all in on my own business. No more part-time job, no more other kind of security. It was just this Mum Loves Tech is going to be it. So the 5th of September is a really special date for me. And I wanted to, on this episode, to tell you a little bit about how this last year's been, really. When I started the membership in September last year, it was just £9 a month. And really all I did was put the replays of some masterclasses that I'd already run and said that I would come on to Zoom at the time. We're now using Google Meet, but Zoom at the time, and just answer some griefless questions. Over the last 12 months, it's really grown into something so much bigger. Those support calls are now weekly because that's what I felt like the ladies in the membership needed. There's now guest masterclasses each month where I get other tech experts come in, or other sides of business that people can help my members with. There's a whole library of masterclass resources and short tech tips so that you can really move forward with the tools that you're using in your business. And most importantly, is there is a supportive community of women who are growing their confidence with tech week by week. And it's just so lovely to see those relationships. And some of the ladies are now working together. Just on a call we had today, someone had a new idea and people were kind of sharing their thoughts on that person's new idea, which is really lovely to see the community aspect growing. And what is really amazing is, out of the 25 ladies who were those founding members that joined me at the very, very start when I first launched the membership, 24 of them are still active members today. And that really tells me that the membership is really making a difference, which is really proud for me to know that people are sticking around, that they're finding it helpful, that they're finding it useful on moving their business forward. So really, with this episode, I wanted to share some reflections, what I've learned, what's next for the membership, and also the podcast going forward. Because it's that anniversary, it's also for me a kind of start of a new year, start of a new school term, start of a new year for me. I kind of start my year in September, and I wanted to just share what I've got planned next, and exciting things and exciting reasons to continue to listen to the This Mum Loves Tech podcast. So if you've listened to me before, you know I often compare running a business to raising kids or having children and family around, because like your kids, your business goes through stages. So in those early newborn days, your business is probably going to need you a lot. Maybe not quite 24/7 like a newborn baby, but it's going to need you to be there. It's going to need you to be inputting things a lot. It's not going to be able to function a lot by itself. You need to teach it how to do that. That first year is all going to be about learning and about discovering this new world that you're now in, and how you navigate it. There'll be bumps along the road. You'll fall down, like when you're trying to learn to walk and they never do it first time. There was bumping into things. And that's how you've got to approach that first year of business, really. When I first started 2 years ago, it was very stop-start. It was very much trying different things to see what would work, testing out whether I could roll into the next thing, or, taking those first few steps and really working out what it was that I wanted to do, who do I want to be, who did I want this Mum Loves Tech to be, and who was it going to help? And that did not happen overnight. When I very first started in 2023, I was doing Instagram and Pinterest. And I'm not going to go into all the details because episode 3, I do tell my kind of whole backstory of how I got the business up and running. But really, it's kind of just highlighting how the stages of business and the stages of family life and raising a child are so similar. So once you've got over that newborn stage, you've kind of done those first kind of milestones, you've got that first client, you've taken those first steps. Well, that's when things like teething happens, and things that were working maybe stop working, or things you thought people wanted, they're no longer wanting, and business evolves. We've got to test things out, see what works, and sometimes they will end up in a bit of a meltdown. They won't work for us, and other things, you know, will progress through really quickly. We'll hit those milestones. And then comes a stage where your business is ready to get some more support, you know, similar to when you first send your child off to nursery or preschool or school, something like that, when it's their first days, which I'm sure a lot of people are experiencing right now, is that kind of nervousness of getting someone else in to help with your business. Maybe you're looking at like getting a VA, or maybe someone to help you with your social media, or someone to help you with your emails. It's nerve-wracking handing part of your business, part of your baby over to somebody else and not being the one doing all the things. You know, when you send your kid off to nursery or to school, they're now with somebody else. Someone else is now looking after them. And it's a really strange thing to go through. And that's what happens when you start outsourcing. You know, things start happening in your business that someone else is doing for you, and that's a bit strange. But it's also the steps we need to grow, because then at school, your kids learn things that you can't teach them because you don't have the knowledge. And it's the same as getting in support helps you then do other things within your business that you otherwise wouldn't have the time or the capacity to do, which then makes your business grow. So I would say that now, coming into year 2 of the business and year 1 of the membership, this Mum Loves Tech is somewhere between the toddler stage and the school years. You know, we're at preschool. It's kind of like my youngest, really, in that he's at preschool a couple of days a week. I've got a VA now. I have an accountant. I'm starting to hand over some of those tasks that I don't necessarily bring me joy, but need to be done. But it's still kind of strange, you know, like when my VA writes one of my membership emails for me, it's kind of still strange to then see it there scheduled. It's like, I didn't do that. You know, it's something you do have to get used to. But because she wrote that email for me, and my VA, by the way, is the brilliant Lizzie Harwood. So if you are looking for a VA, please do get in touch with her. I'll put her link in the show notes. But by getting her to do those emails, it's allowed me to do so much other stuff within the business, and it's how I've been able to make the membership grow. So I want to take you back to the beginning, this time last year. And why did I even start a membership? Well, really it started because people kept asking me for access to the previous masterclasses that I'd done. So I set up the Facebook group. I started running free masterclasses every month, and people were then coming into the group, seeing what I'd done before and wanting to have access to it. So literally, when I first set it up on the 5th of September last year, I just gave them access to that. I put all the masterclasses on an online platform. I use Thrivecart Learn because, you know, I can't not talk about the tech. And I just gave them access to that. And then I realized something important, that when it comes to tech, it is so much easier to be shown things, where to click, what to do, rather than trying to figure out written instructions. Like if I'm answering a question in a Facebook group or in my own Facebook group, it was so much easier to just say, you know what, let's get on a call and show you what I mean, rather than, you know, writing is not my strong point anyway. It's a much easier if I can just show you, click here, press there, especially if things update. Now, this happened to me recently, really frustratingly. I had been recording the part 2 of my Ignite Your Email List course, which is all about how to use MailerLite. and I'd finished recording them. And then I went back in to do something for my own business and realized they'd done an update, and everything, well, not everything looked different, but a lot of the places where you click look different. So I then had to go and re-record the whole thing. That's why I really like doing live calls, actually. And I find doing the recorded ones actually quite difficult because tech changes so much. So I'm constantly having to update it. But I also do know there is a need that people, not everyone can afford to work with me in a live capacity. So having things like my calls recorded puts things at a more affordable level, which is why I'm doing it. And it does mean that I am going to have to update it regularly, but that's what it is with tech. And yeah, so getting back to the membership and why I wanted to put those live calls in is that I realized it's so much easier to show people things if I can get them on the call. They can show me where they're stuck rather than them trying to explain it as well. Because sometimes I was finding that people were explaining things and they were missing out a really tiny but really crucial detail that as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, well, yeah, I can see why it's not working now. But because of how you were trying to explain to me, I couldn't see that bit that was missing. So the Q&A calls that I do in the membership are really, really valuable. And I was only doing them like once or twice a month, and I realized quite quickly that for people to progress the fastest, they need them regularly. So they're now weekly, and that's what's so great about a membership as well, is you can change it. It needs to evolve as your members evolve, as technology evolves, and a membership is a really great way of getting across the most up-to-date information to people. And really, that's the biggest win for me of the membership, has been watching my members' confidence grow week after week. Some of the ladies, when they first joined, they'd never heard of MailerLite. They didn't know that there was a paid version of Google Workspace that they could connect their domain to. They just weren't realizing that this tech was available. And now those same ladies that joined a year ago that didn't know how to set up any of it are asking a lot more technical questions. They're getting more advanced in what it is that they're doing with these tools, and that's really exciting. They're feeling a lot more confident about going and finding the answers to the questions themselves sometimes. Like, it sounds silly, like having a membership and actually being happy with people going and finding out their own answers. But it's the fact that it's the ladies that when they first joined the membership and I first started working with them, were like, they were too scared to press anything. Now getting to the point where they're like, oh, I watched this masterclass and then I was able to realize this was the thing I needed to do. So I went and did a bit more research, and now I've got this thing set up. And like, to think that a couple of months ago they didn't even know what that thing was. Yeah, that's the biggest win for me of the membership. I got some feedback recently from a few of the members. So Margaret, one of the ladies in the membership, she's a fused glass artist and she creates beautiful things. And she said that I really make the tech understandable and usable, and the weekly support and the community feels like a cozy tech hug, which is always a lovely thing to say, more than a membership, which is a really nice way to put it. And then Jill runs the Pet Pro. It's like a pet directory for pet businesses. And she said she joined the membership because she's a bit of a technophobe. And she's so glad she did, because the weekly calls have been so useful for those niggly things that she just can't solve. Like, if you find yourself staring at your computer being like, why isn't this working? Wouldn't it be so great if you could just get on a call and ask somebody? And that is what I've created the membership for. A space where no question is too small, too silly, too basic. You could just get on the call. You can just ask me. And with it being weekly, you haven't got too long to wait if you do run into any problems. And of course, nothing is smooth sailing. There's always challenges. And I kind of highlighted it already in the episode, but the biggest challenge for me has been keeping up with all the admin, because there's things like scheduling email reminders, uploading the replays, making sure people get all the information that they need. And so that is why earlier this year I did outsource and brought in Lizzie Howard, my VA, to help with that behind the scenes admin. So it frees me up to deliver the actual tech support, knowing that the stuff in the background, the admin in the background, is being looked after. What having the membership over the last year has really taught me is how important it is to have support around you. Being a business owner can be really lonely. So knowing that there's that regular support, that regular weekly check-in where you can come along and ask your questions. I mean, I have ladies that just join the calls sometimes just to see what questions other people are going to be asking. And sometimes they start the call saying, no, I don't have any questions, I've just hit a listen. And then by the end of it, it's prompted a question, or it's prompted something in their business. Oh, I can now go away and do that. Whereas if they were by themselves, they never would have thought of it. And what I've seen is the ladies that do regularly come to the calls, they're making real progress because they're not stuck figuring it out all alone. And it just reminds me how powerful community is. And as well, it's not just me supporting the ladies in the membership, but they're supporting each other. They're able to ask questions, ask opinions. What do you think of this as maybe a new lead magnet idea? Or I'm thinking of doing this masterclass. Who would sign up for that? Or I'm wondering if this is something that people would be interested in. They can just ask the people on the call, and it really helps move them forward in that aspect of validating their ideas and knowing it's something that people are interested in. So if I could go back to myself a year ago, really, I just have to give myself a big high five, which I hope doesn't sound like too big-headed and bragging or anything, but the membership really is like one of the favorite parts of my business. I love jumping on the calls each week, seeing those familiar faces, watching the ladies grow in confidence, and having this kind of living, breathing thing, you know. So the membership keeps growing. It grows with new members. So we get new people in, new businesses, new people at different stages. And there's new tools, there's new updates. It means that I can tell the membership ladies when these updates are happening. I can show them, look, this is now happening. This is how you now use it. Because, you know, there's nothing more unsettling, that's the word. There's nothing more unsettling than you go to do something. You're like, right, I'm going to, you know, maybe put my welcome sequence together for my lead magnet. And then you go into it and nothing is where you thought it would be. You're like, hang on a minute. I need to go and do this thing, and nothing is where I thought it was going to be, you know, because when they make an update, they never really like when I went into MailerLite and just noticed that they literally was just a banner that come up along the top that said, we've improved the user experience. And then that was it. There was no, what have you actually changed? It was then just looking at it and going like, well, where's that now? And, you know, trying to, and working out where things were. From where they were before. So having that support, knowing you can come onto a call and being like, hang on, I just logged into this and it's now looking different. Where's this thing that I need? It's just great comfort to know. And it means that I can keep the membership really current and really up to date. Because obviously online courses are great. And I have got my Ignite Your Email List course, which obviously I had to re-record this morning. But it does mean that if there's an update, I have to make a recording, and then I have to edit that recording. I have to upload that recording. And sometimes that takes time. Whereas if there's a membership call, I can show people straight away what that change is. And all the calls get recorded and put online so that, you know, they're there for other people to look at as well. So as we go into the second year of the membership, I'm going to make some changes because I've learned a lot over the last year, and I've realized the things that are working and things that aren't. So I'm also adding in some accountability action calls, because one of the things I've found as well is I have all these great ideas, but I don't always give myself the time to actually implement them. So what I'm going to now be doing is every few weeks, there's going to be a call on a Friday morning where we're actually going to dedicate the time to get stuff done. We're going to set the intention, hold ourselves accountable. This is what I'm going to do in the next hour and a half. The call's going to be 2 hours. We're going to spend like 10-15 minutes highlighting what is the thing I'm going to do. What is it? What do I need? Have I got everything that I need to make this thing happen? Ask any questions you've got ahead of doing the thing. Then we're going to spend an hour and a half working on the thing. And then at the end, a final kind of 10-15 minutes kind of summarizing, well, have I got the thing done that I thought? Because a lot of the time, I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but I find that I dedicate some time to something. And I think, yeah, this should only take me an hour or two. And then an hour or two's gone and I've only done half of it. And I go to do the same thing again. Like at the moment, I do edit my own podcast and I do love editing it. It's something I quite enjoy, but I never account for enough time to do it. I wouldn't realize that if I didn't dedicate a set time to it, because I just kind of keep going till I've got it done and then realize, oh, it's actually a lot later than I thought. And so what I thought I was going to get done today, I haven't got done. So what I really want these accountability action sessions to do is not only to help you get things done, but also to see how long things are taking you. So that the next time you go to do it, you can give yourself a more realistic time scale to actually get it done. So that's one of the new things that's come in. But the other new things I'm doing is you're going to only be able to join the membership at the start of each quarter. So September, December, March and June. And the reason for that is because each of the quarters is going to be themed on a different area of tech. And the guest masterclasses are going to be themed on that. The masterclasses I'll be doing will be themed on that, because I really want people to make progress. I don't want, like, the problem is if we jump around too many different themes, people then can't make progress on one thing. So for example, quarter 4 of 2025, so if you are listening to this live or still in September, this still is going to apply to you. It's going to be all on websites. So I'm going to be doing masterclasses on how to build them, how to put the pages together, blog posts, all that kind of thing. And then I've got other people coming in so to do things on like SEO and website legals and things like that, so that after the 3 months, you've really made some momentum of it. You've understood what you need to do and you've had some time to actually do it rather than just learning all the time. Now, obviously, the Q&A calls, they'll still be for anything. But my thought process with doing the membership this way is that then people can focus on a different thing each quarter and really make some progress with their tech. So like quarter 1 of 2026 is all going to be on social media, because I know these are areas of tech that people really need support with. So I'm really excited to see how this kind of new model of the membership goes. And obviously, if it doesn't work or I find that people aren't enjoying it this way, I can always make changes, because things can change and progress, and especially with the membership. The only thing that's not changing is you can still cancel at any time. So if you do join and find the membership is not for you, you can cancel. But if you do decide to rejoin, you can't do that till the doors open again at those quarterly points. But yeah, I'm really excited to make the membership more about action. You know, we've already got the Q&A calls and I can see the progress that people are making in there, and I want to make people make more progress. And I hope this new structure is going to help people do that. And it's also great to have the podcast back. You know, I have missed it over the summer. I've enjoyed sharing some of the episodes that I've already done before, some of my favorite ones, especially some of the early ones, you know, because that was back in January now. And the podcast itself has really helped me reach new people and to give people a way of getting some free support, because although the membership's only £30 a month, it's really important to me that people can access some support for free as well. So having the podcast allows people to still get that initial support, and then if they want further, they know the membership is there as well. I mean, £30 a month still works out at £1 a day. So the membership is a great way of getting some regular support without, you know, a high price tag to it. Some of my favorite podcast episodes that I've done have been the action ones, the ones where I give you tips, things like the Canva and MailerLite ones, where I literally show you how to do things. So it's a bit like a mini masterclass, really, because I love teaching and I love sharing my knowledge. So they've been some of my favorites. But I do love interviewing the guest experts as well, having the guest episodes so that I can share other people's knowledge, you know, because there's only so much tech that I can learn. So having the guests sharing their tech knowledge as well, and also the guests that share other areas of business, because obviously business is not just about tech. There's lots of other things. Mindset is a huge thing, you know, health of ourselves, because, you know, we can only run our business if we're healthy to run it. So bringing in experts of those kind of things, sharing that on the podcast as well, has just been great. And I've got some exciting news. So because it is the membership's first birthday and my business's second birthday, I need to just celebrate that in some way. So if you are listening live or you're listening to this on the 5th, there is still time to enter my membership birthday prize draw. So you need to be an active member of the This Mum Loves Tech membership before 5 p.m. on the 5th of September. you then can be in the running for some of the amazing prizes. So the first place prize is a free hour of tech support with me. So my 1 hour tech support calls are normally £95. You're going to get a whole free hour. You'll get the recording afterwards. So it's literally like a one-to-one training session for you. I love my tech support calls. Just seeing how much we can get done in an hour is really amazing. And then the second place prize, 3 people will win October's membership on me. So yeah, really excited that I can offer that to people. I'll just refund them their October payment. So they basically get a free month, which is lovely. And then the third place prize, it's 6 people going to win that. So if you've been keeping counts, 10 prizes in all, is that they're going to get a £20 voucher off any of the other This Mum Loves Tech services. So if you do want a tech support call, or if you want to get onto my Ignite Your Email List course, yeah, you can get £20 off all of those things. So yeah, I'm really excited for this prize draw. So the prize draw itself is going to be taking place at 8 o'clock inside This Mum Loves Tech Facebook group. And just to be clear, the Facebook group is open to everybody. You don't need to be a member to be in the Facebook group. So you can still come in there and ask your tech questions. Yeah, there's ladies in the membership in there, and then there's people that are in my This Mum Loves Tech community in there as well. But the prizes are specifically for members only. So yeah, I will put the link to join the membership in the show notes. Or if you want to reach out and ask any questions, you can find me on Facebook or Instagram. Just look for This Mum Loves Tech, and I can come and answer any questions. So if you have been thinking about joining, now would be a perfect time, because you can get your name in the draw for those amazing prizes. So really, that is my reflections on the first year of running a membership. At the beginning, it was full of long newborn nights, went through some teething pains and toddler tantrums, and now I really feel like we're kind of setting ourselves up for continued learning and continued growth. And it really is such a joy to see the progress that the ladies are making within the membership, and it really reminded me of why I do what I do and why I set up This Mum Loves Tech in the first place. So I just want to say a huge thank you to every single member who's been part of this journey in the last year. Whether you've joined this week, whether you've been there from day one, whether you're part of the community, listening to the podcast, or one of my amazing guests that's come and delivered a masterclass or been a guest on the podcast as well, I just want to say a huge thank you to you. And This Mum Loves Tech wouldn't be where it is today without you. And I can't wait for the continuing with the podcast now that it's back, and all the amazing episodes that I've got lined up for you. I've got some brilliant guests. I've recorded a lot over the summer to kind of get myself ahead, and yeah, really excited for the episodes that you've got coming up over the next couple of months. And if there is something, if there's an area of tech or a particular guest that you would like to see on the This Mum Loves Tech podcast, please get in contact with me and let me know. I want to make this podcast as useful and as helpful to you as possible. So please do get in contact. And thank you for listening to today's episode of This Mum Loves Tech. And I hope to see you on the next one. And actually, you can go in to listen to the next one right now. So because this is a kind of a mini relaunch, I'm releasing 2 episodes. So you can go and listen right now to the guest episode I did with Lixie Harkham, who is a sales strategist. And Lixie is actually going to be one of the ladies running one of the guest memberships in September, because in September there's 2. And so you can go and listen to Lixie. She gives some great advice about selling, because September is a great time for selling. Now, everyone is in that back to school feeling, the countdown to Christmas, although I don't want to mention the C word right now. People are starting to think about it. People are starting to think about buying things and people are also starting to think about ending the year strong, especially if people had goals of what they wanted to achieve in 2025. They might need some support now, support that you can give them. So sales in September is a really strong point, and that's why I'm really excited to have Lixie coming into the membership. So go ahead and listen to that episode now if you haven't already. And then next week's episode is with Sophie Fraser, who's going to be talking about the mindset of selling, because there's a lot of mindset things that come up with selling. And she's going to help us battle through that so we can end the year in the strongest way possible. So I hope you enjoy the episodes to come with This Mum Loves Tech. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of This Mum Loves Tech. If you're ready to save time and cut through the overwhelm when it comes to the tech and the tools your business really needs, don't forget to grab my free time-saving tech checklist. It's a super simple checklist that shows you what tools are, I believe, essential for your business, what can wait, and what you may have signed up to that you're not actually using. Download your copy at thismumlovestech.co.uk/checklist and start making the tech work for you. You can also find the link in the show notes below, and I'll see you in the next episode.